What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Guys, I'm dealing with a sad story out of Inglewood, California. And Inglewood, California is a mainstay, just like the city of Oakland, for a lot of African American excellence. You know, the Los Angeles Lakers used to play in the Forum, and then right across the street in the old Hollywood Park Casino is where the Los Angeles Rams and the Chargers played. I was born in LA County. I was born in the city of Inglewood at St. Francis Hospital. I spent my time in Del Paso Heights in Sacramento, but I also have lived in several notorious gang blocks: Cedar Block, Treetop Piru on West Poplar Street. I lived on Elizabeth, where is the neighborhood where Atlantic Drive Crip is there. I've lived on Santa Fe where the Santana blocks ride. So I know a lot about gang culture because I went to Benjamin O. Davis Middle School. You know, I went to Compton College. So I understand what it's like to be active from other guys being in the life. And this young brother by the name of Indian Red Boy was a product of his own environment. When I look at his Instagram page, he only had 2 posts, but you know, I see him as a young man with his mom, and it seems like, you know, as a young man, you know, he's born into this sort of life, you know, not much of a chance to really have a lot of positive role models around him from what I can tell. And you know, he has a lot of photos, you know, of him with guns and things like that, him around other gang members. And I mean, he's born into the life that he knows, okay, which is what a lot of young black men are born into, that life. And a lot of the videos that I've seen on his Instagram live, he has some videos in which he's throwing up a lot of signs, hand gang signs, but some of these signs are disrespectful to other gangs. Now, for somebody like us that don't really know what's going on, it just looked like he's just throwing up certain things. But he's telling a story, and maybe we can get that video in the background. He's telling a story of how he feels about other people in other blocks, okay? And what happens is that folks who see that and can take some disrespect to that with some of the people, you know, he's a guy that folks was looking for, okay? Now, I can't show you this clip. I've seen it on Instagram Live, where he was gunned down. He's basically asking his homeboy, what would you do if you get caught without a gun? And while he's saying that, he takes literally at least 12 to 16 bullets. I would have thought he caught all of them. All right. And he's just getting shot. And at first you don't think like they hitting him, because, you know, he seemed to be taking it pretty well. And when he comes back on the screen, he took one bullet underneath his eye and he says, "Help me, help me." You can tell he's in a whole lot of pain. You know, you can tell that that he's not gonna make it. You know, because he took too much abuse, too much punishment with those bullets. And some of you guys might not think anything of it. You know, some brothers may say something disrespectful. Well, that's what he get. That's what he deserved. And I mean, according to his Instagram, he was living that life. He was definitely a blood. He was living that lifestyle. But whoever the killer is, you can probably think that the guy who killed him, whether he's a Crip or a Blood, it could be in the same gang, we don't know. One thing I can tell you is this: 60 years ago, it's very popular that their grandmothers or grandfathers was friends. That's what kills me about the Crips and the Bloods. I mean, I know you got GDs, vice lords, and things like that. And I'm not going to, you know, step on anybody's toes. I know you got real dudes all over the world, man. You know, even in London, you know, you got killers everywhere. So I'm not trying to hate on nobody or to act like nobody is, you know, the West Coast is different than the other. But our gang mentality, it hits more crazy because with the Crips and Bloods, you can have brothers, okay, that from the same family, from the same cliques, just their grandmothers live in different areas and they're not even friends. Like, for example, you can have a grandmother that live like I said, in Treetop Piru. And your grandma lived in Atlantic. Okay? And y'all first cousins. But during the drive-by, you getting at each other. Or sometimes I saw on Kev Meg's videos, one of the brothers that he was interviewing, I was supposed to interview that brother too. He said he was going to do a drive-by one day, and he pulled up to do as he was pulling the gun outside the car, he noticed he saw his cousin right out there. And so he didn't shoot. But imagine that these folks, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, 70 years ago fighting for the same thing. Equality, justice, trying to leave the deep south. Coming to California for another chance, leaving the Louisianas in the Great Migration. And then their great-granddaughters and great-grandsons or their great-grandsons, because they live down a different street. He from 60s and you from Inglewood, you killing them. And that's how it used to be when I was a kid. Even when I lived in Sacramento, and anybody from Sacramento know back in the 90s, if you're from Del Paso Heights, you didn't go to South Sacramento. You damn sure wasn't going to Oak Park. Don't even matter if you're affiliated or not. We used to have, summer work programs where you had, Del Paso Heights work crew, cleanups, and the Oak Park work crew cleanup, and we didn't like each other. Our grandmas probably knew each other, went to the same churches, and because you're from Del Paso Heights, I'm from Oak Park, it's like F you. All because they're from a different part of town. You know what I mean? And when you look at some of our people like that, and you talk about white supremacy and the white man, listen, if you look at what we doing, fighting over nothing. And some of you guys out here that grew up in California, you know what I'm talking about. Right now, it's not as bad as it used to be. I was in LA when Farrakhan tried to call a truce, and it was short-lived. Where if you wear certain colors and if you out of town, like if you was going around with the North Carolina light blue on and you end up pulling up in the wrong hood like Santana Block, folks might think you're from Atlanta. You might get killed for that. You have people using sign language in cars that was deaf, trying to communicate with their mom or something, and then they end up in a shootout. Because some idiot think that you're trying to do it all, trying to get at them. And I just really want to say my heart goes out to the Young Brothers family. And this is what happens a lot of times, when your brothers come up, some brothers are doomed from the beginning. Mom ain't there. Daddy ain't got no infrastructure for them. Nobody care about them as a kid. What do you expect these young black men to become? They supposed to become lawyers and doctors? Are they supposed to become engineers? They're going to become usually what their parents are. And I want to tell people this, And I said everybody has accountability for themselves, but I want you to also have accountability for the kids, because kids are what the parents give them. And I'm going to take that from George Macon. They are what you give them. They also are what you don't give them. And I don't know if this brother is responsible for taking anybody else's life. I know he had the guns thing on his stuff. I don't know. But I just want to say, man, my heart goes out to him, and my heart goes out to the guy who killed him. Because whoever killed him, you're going to die every day too. Whether they catch you or not. Because you're going to see this man in your dreams. All right? That is for sure. You always now have to see this brother that you killed in your dreams. It's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe at the bell. Check out the first comment on the top. Check out the Black Men of Perf t-shirts. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I am out.